Today's topic is merge interval. Okay, so basically what is merge interval? There will be two intervals, let's say 1 2, right, and 2 3, right. We need to merge them, so after merging it will be 1 3, right, correct. Let's say we have 1 comma 5 and 2 comma 3. So after merging, what will be the interval? It will be 1 comma 5 only, correct, because 2 3 will come under this only, correct. It will be, this interval will be 1 2 3 4 5, correct. So 2 and 3 will come under this only. So this is what merge interval is. So it is a common algorithmic approach used when dealing with a collection of intervals, usually represented as a pair, like start and the end. As I mentioned, this is the starting point, this is the end element. Okay, and you need to merge all overlapping intervals as we did, right, or process the interval in a way such that their overlaps are efficiently handled. We will see the example. So given intervals 1 3 2 6, 1 3 2 6, 8 10 and 15 18, right. These are the given intervals. Okay, now after merging, what will be the result? It will be 1 comma 6, right, because this 2 and 3 will come under this 1 comma 6 only, right. After that 8 comma 18, not 18, 8 comma 10 and 15 comma 18, right. Let's say instead of 15 we have 9 here, then it will be like this, 8 comma 18, because this 9 and 10 will come under this interval only, right. So where can it be applicable? The pattern is applied in problems that involve ranges, segments, intervals, where overlap need to be managed, right. So some questions like merge intervals or merge meetings, CPU scheduling. So these are the common scenarios. Calendar, event merging, finding free time slot from the booking schedules, merging busy intervals in the CPU scheduling. This is important question. This is a hard problem asked in Google. Okay, range comparison, compression, data compression, where data is stored as the ranges instead of individual elements, right. Merging intervals in sequence or network IP ranges, right. We will see the example. With the example you will get to know more how to apply the merge interval patterns. So basically some steps are there. First step is we need to sort all the elements by their start time. Okay, let's say we need to merge 1 comma 2, then we have instead of 2 we have, let's say, 10. Okay, then we have 3 comma, or let's say 6 comma 7, then we have 3 comma 10, or let's say 9. So we need to first sort it with their starting time, right. We will get 1 10 3 9, then 6 7, right. After that we need to merge it. After merging, it will be, if we merge these two intervals, it will be 1 comma 10, right, because this 3 and 9 will come under this interval only. After that 6 and 7 we will check these two intervals, it will be 1 comma 10 only, right. So first step is we need to sort all the intervals by their start time. What is the second step? And reason is also given. Overlap can only happen between the intervals that are next to each other after sorting, right. Okay, so that's why we are doing sorting, right. You got this point, everyone, why we are doing this sorting by the start time. Okay, let me explain one more example. Let's say we have 1 comma 4, then we have 6 comma 7, then we have 3 comma 5, let's say. Okay, So these are the intervals given. Now we need to merge it. Can we merge this? No, we can't, because if we try to merge this, we will compare these elements, right? This last element and this element. If this is the greater than this, then we will merge this, right? We will check end of the last with what? Start of the current, right? Start of current. If start is smaller, let's say we have here 2, then we can merge this, right? We can merge this because 2 will come before 4, right? So we need to check these two things. So if it's not sorted, then we will check these two elements. We will say we can't merge this, so we can write as it is. But this 3 and 5, these two can merge, right? So we should sort them with their starting time. Okay, this part is clear for everyone. So what is the next step? Iterate through the intervals and merge when overlapping. As I said, as I mentioned this, like we need to compare end of the last and the starting point of the current interval, right? While comparing, we will get to know like which element will come first, and with the comparison we can say this is overlapping or this is not overlapping, right? If the current elements start is less than last elements end, right? This is what I mentioned here. The last element of the last element, if this is greater than or equal to starting of the current, that means this is overlapping, right? So we will merge them by updating the end. We will see in the question. Otherwise, no overlap, we can move to the next interval. Okay, so this is the code, pseudocode. Okay, what we are doing here, we are sorting by the starting point, right? After that, we are traversing through the interval, the given array, and we are checking if the last element of the last element is smaller than the starting point of the next interval, then we will add it, right? So with the code you will understand it more. Okay, what's next? How to recognize questions that need this pattern. So we will look for the problems where you are given a list or array of the intervals or ranges, right? This is important. Let's say you are given the starting point, the starting time and the end time of the intervals. In this case, check if we can apply the merge pattern or not. Okay, after that we will check for the task that involves merging, covering, minimizing overlaps or finding gaps, right? So that's all. Like merging, we will check if we ask to merge the intervals, or overlapping we need to check, right? So these are some scenarios where we will apply merge interval pattern. Check for the words like merge, combine, overlap, conflict, meeting, event, calendar, right? So these all are the words, so check for these in the question, right? So these are some example like merge, overlapping intervals, insert a new interval, merge if possible, if necessary, right? Find intersections of intervals, minimum number of meeting rooms required. This is important. This was asked in Google. Okay, employ free time, right? Remove covered intervals. So these are some questions, examples, right? And what are the benefits of this pattern? So efficiency, the most important thing is efficiency. We can make it faster as compared to the brute force. In brute force we usually take n square time complexity. Here we can use n log n. Okay. Simplicity, once intervals are sorted, you never look back, just process in the order. Okay, so these are some benefits, and this is the summary table. Sort, iterate, merge, return, right? Understood till this point? Before merging, do we need to sort it first? Yes, as I mentioned here, right? This was the example. See, we are merging two intervals which are right to each other, right? So these are the two intervals, so we need to check them if we can merge them or not. If it's not sorted, this you can see we can merge these elements, right? If we can't we will not sort it, then we can't merge it, right? So sorting is important, sorting with their start time. So let's start with the first question. Merge intervals. Simple question. We simply need to merge the overlapping intervals. Okay, so merge all the overlapping intervals, return an array of the known overlapping intervals that cover all the intervals in the input. Let's take the example. Okay, so this is the given example. We are given intervals as 1, 3. This is the first interval. Second interval is 2, 6. Third is 8, 10. Then 15, 18. Right. So these are the intervals given. Now we need to merge the overlapping intervals. In the question, in the given example, can you see the overlapping intervals? Yes. See, this 2 can come before 3, right? So this is the overlapping. If you see like line, here is 1, here is 3, right? This is the first interval. After that, second interval is 2 till 6, right? Then 8 till 10, right? 8 till 10, then 15 to 18. So we can see in this kind of graph or diagram, these two intervals are overlapping, right? We need to merge them. How can we merge them? After merging these two intervals, what is the start point and what is the end point? Start point will be 1 only, right? It will be 1, and the end point will be 6, right? End point will be 6. So after merging, it will be 1, 6, right? Now how we will get the 6 and 1? See, for the starting point, we need to take minimum of both. Okay, minimum of both starting point, either 1 or 2, right? We will take 1. This is the minimum. And after that, for endpoint, we need to take maximum of both, right? From 3 and 6, we will take maximum, that is 6, so that all the elements within that comes under this interval. Clear, everyone? We will use sort method here. The arrays dot sort. Okay, this will take basically n log n time complexity. Okay, and in some question there may be like sorting is not there, so we need to sort it first. Let's say if we check some other example, let me create one example for you. As we mentioned earlier, right, this was the example, right? So for this case, we need to sort it first. Okay, so we will sort it. After sorting, what we will get? 1, 4, 3, 5 and 6, 7, right? We will get this interval, correct, after sorting with their start time. Now how to merge? 1, we will take a minimum, that is 1 only, right? After that, we will check the end point or the ending time of this interval and the starting point of next interval. If this is smaller, the starting point is smaller than the end point, that means these are overlapping, right? That means we need to take the maximum of this endpoint and this endpoint, basically the endpoint of both the intervals. We will take maximum of from that. In this case, it's 5, right? After that, 6 and 7, right? So after merging, we will get these intervals. So first point is sort by starting time, right? Second thing is we will traverse and check the condition. Check what? Check the end time of last interval with what? With starting time of current interval. Okay, current interval. And 1, 4, 3, 6, right? And if the starting point, that is this thing, starting point is less than or equal to with this endpoint, right? endpoint of the last element. If this is the case, that means they both are overlapping. We will update the endpoint, right? Endpoint of the current element or the last element, right? So we will check in the code. So we will do what? We will take maximum of endpoint of last and endpoint of current. Okay. So it will basically, what we are doing, we are merging it. Okay. What is the next point? That's it. At the end, we will return the array. Run the array. And if they are not overlapping, then what we will do? We will move to the next interval. Okay, these are the point. So let's move to the coding part. Okay, so let's write the code for merge intervals. So first step was sorting, right? We will sort it. Arrays dot sort, and the sorting part, we need to pass the intervals, the array, and a comma b. After that we will be using what? Lambda function and integers dot compare. What we need to compare here? The starting point, right? So for each array, these are the arrays, right? And the intervals, we can say we need to compare the starting point, that is array of 0, right? Array for this also, let's say this is array of 0, right? So basically what we are doing here in the function, we are passing two arrays, right? These are the arrays, we are passing them, and we are saying we need to compare the starting point from these arrays. Compare what? A of starting point and b of starting point, that is the element at the 0 index, right? So what we are doing here, we are passing the intervals and we are saying we need to compare two things from this, right? That is two arrays, and within that array we are comparing the starting point. Okay, so this was the sorting part. After that we need to make let's say the first store the size, intervals dot length. After that we will be having the resultant array in which we will be storing our merged intervals. Right, each array will be of two sizes, the starting point and the end point, right? After that we will put initial array, the initial interval as it is, intervals of 0. Okay, now we need to start the for loop, right? We will traverse and check for the overlapping part. So we will start from first index, I less than n, I plus plus, right? After that we will check if intervals of I, what we need to check? The starting point of the current interval with what? With the endpoint of the last interval, right? So let's make one more variable, that is the endpoint for each interval. Okay, so it's 1. So this is the starting point of the current element, and this is the end time of the last interval which we stored in the resultant, right? So if the endpoint, the starting point is smaller than the endpoint, that means they are overlapping, right? We need to merge them. So res of e and 1, we need to update the end time of the interval, right? So it will be what? We will comparing the endpoint of both the elements, right? The intervals, that is res e comma 1, and what is the second thing? Intervals of I and 1. Got it? We are comparing the, let's write it here, comparing and points of last interval, last and current intervals, and storing in the last interval. Okay, so if you see the example, we had this 1, 4 and 3 and 6, right? And we need to update the last pointer, so we are updating in the this pointer only, that is 1 and 6, right? Understood till this point? In the else condition, that means they are not overlapping. In that case, we will simply move to the next interval. Okay, e plus plus, and in the resultant we will simply add, right, intervals of I. Okay, understood till now? That's it. This is the whole question. At the last, we just need to return the array. How to return now? Return one thing, we can't return this res because it's size of n, right? So we need to return the optimize the merged intervals. Okay, so what we will do, we will use, basically we will return till e index. I will explain you this also. Copy of range, I will use this method. Okay, and this I will be passing 0, the starting index and the last index, that is I plus 1. Let's run this. O small or C small, I guess. Okay, accepted. Let's submit this. So it's accepted. Now why we are returning the size till e? See, we are doing e plus plus here, when basically while we are merging we are not incrementing our e, right? So let's say we have 1, 4 and 3, 6, right? So initially e was at this index, right? So e will increase when we will have non overlapping arrays. Okay, 7, 8, right? So if you see here, what we are doing in this point, we are checking if they are overlapping, then we are merging it, right? We are not incrementing this e, right? We are incrementing when they are non overlapping. So after merging this, it will be 1, 6, right? Then it will come to this point. It will compare again, it will compare these two things, 7 and 6. It's not overlapping, so we will increase our e. E is basically for adding the interval in the resultant, right? Resultant we have added 1, 6. After that e will be 1, right? After adding this, now it will go to this point when it's non overlapping, right? E plus plus, e will go to, e was 0 and e will come 1 here, then we will add 7, 8, right? So basically we are incrementing e to store the elements in our resultant, and resultant is the result of the merged intervals, right? So basically e is the size of merged intervals, right? Correct. And what is the time complexity here? Yes, it's n log n, because we are using this sort method, right? It will take n log n. After that, this will take n time complexity. So overall will be n log n. So got it. Let's move to the next question. Next question is insert intervals. So basically we are given an array of non-overlapping intervals where interval I is start and end, and it's sorted in the ascending order, right, by start. So it's already sorted, right? So we can save our time complexity in sorting. Now we are given a new interval, that is start and the end, and we need to add it, insert, such that the intervals is still sorted in the ascending order by start, and interval should not have any overlapping part, right? So question is, we are given the intervals here at 1, 3 and 6, 9, right? And the thing is, they are already sorted, right? And we are given new interval, that is 2, 5. We need to insert it, and we need to check two things. We need to maintain the what, the sorting part, right, and overlapping part. right? Merge them. Okay, so two things we need to maintain, and we are given it's already sorted. Now how can we do this? First way is like we can simply add it here, right? We will get 1 comma 3, 6 comma 9 and 2 comma 5. Then we can sort it, arrays dot sort. Then we can apply the same functions, same steps as we did in the last question, right? Compare the starting and the endpoint for overlapping and merge them if there, and merge them, right? This will take O and log n time complexity, right? This is one of the way, correct, right? So one way is this thing, right? We can simply add and then we can apply the steps which we applied in the last question, right? Now can we optimize this? O n log n. Okay, so new interval was this thing. Compare with these intervals. What we need to compare now? In the last question, what we are comparing? We are comparing the endpoint and the starting point, right? Starting point. This is for the last interval. This one is for the current interval, right? So in the last question, this is what we are doing. We are comparing the endpoint of the last interval with the starting point of the current interval. Here, current interval will be the new, and the last will be the from the like the given intervals. Okay, the given intervals. Just need to compare them. Okay, at any point, if they are overlapping, we can merge it, right? So let's write it again. 1 comma 3, 6 comma 7, and the new interval was 2 comma 5, right? So two things we need to compare, that is end point and the starting point of new interval of the current interval, okay, of the intervals. Now we will compare 1, 3, 2 comma 5, right? These two intervals we will compare. The endpoint from the current interval, that is this point, and the starting point of the new, right? Of the new. We will compare them. These are overlapping, right? This 2 is smaller than 3. If we write like this, 1 to 3 and from 2 to 5, right? 2 will come before 3. So these are overlapping. Now we will apply the logic. What we were doing? We were updating the endpoint, right? We were updating the endpoint. So we will update this. What? Maximum of new endpoint will be maximum of endpoint of the current and the endpoint of the new interval, right? So what we will get? We will get 1 comma, what is the new? 5, right? 5 is the max from 3 and 5, right? So we will get new interval 1 comma 5. Now it will compare with this 6 comma 7. 6 comma 7. Are they overlapping? No. So these are the resultant intervals. We will return them. Correct? Understood? Okay, so let's code it. So what we are doing? See, n will be there for intervals dot length. After that, there will be, in this we will be using the list. Okay, the dynamic array, the res equal to new array list, right? So initially I will be there. After that, now we will check what we need to check, if they are overlapping or not. So we will be using while loop, right? So I should be less than n, and the second condition for overlapping was we need to compare the endpoint and the starting point, right? So intervals of I and 1, this is the endpoint of the current element. If it's less than new interval of starting point, that is 0, right? New interval was like this, 1 comma 2. So this new 0 will be the starting point and new 1 will be the endpoint, right? So we will be using while loop. So it will basically cover the, let's say we have intervals like 1 comma 2, 3 comma 4, 5 comma 7, and new interval was 6 comma 8. Okay, so basically while loop will cover these elements, these intervals, and we will get this one. Okay, now at this point, this endpoint is greater than the starting point of this, right? So that means they are overlapping. So that's why I used while loop to ignore these intervals, or we can simply add in the resultant. Okay, within while loop, what we need to do, we need to add the intervals as it is, right? Because they are not overlapping. Intervals of I, right? We can simply add it in the resultant, which is type of int array. Got it? And we can do I plus plus, right? So this is the loop for adding non overlapping intervals. Okay, now after this loop we will get a interval which is overlapping, right? So we need to have the while loop for that also. So while loop, the condition will be same, I less than n. Thus what is the second condition? We need to check, right? Intervals of I comma 0. This is the point we need to compare the starting point now. Okay, is equal to new interval of 1. What we are doing here now, see, we have like this 1 comma 3 and 6 comma 7. This was the given intervals, and new interval was 2 comma 4 or 5, whatever, like this. Okay, so now these intervals are overlapping, right? Now we need to update it. What we need to update? In this case, we need to check the starting point also, right? Starting point also here. What is the minimum from both? It's 1, 3, then 2 and 4, right? So what is the minimum of both? It's 1, right? So we will take 1 here as the starting point. And what is the maximum of the endpoint? It's 4. So we will take 4. Now what we are comparing? We are comparing the starting point of the current element, that is from this intervals, this one, with what? With the endpoint of this thing, right? Why? Again, this is the question. See, before these intervals are not overlapping, right? With this interval we can say these are the overlapping, and within this condition what we are doing, we are updating the start point, that is new interval, the start point of the new interval, that is 0. We will be updating what? Minimum of both. That means these elements, yes, minimum of both 1 and 3, and the endpoint of this interval, maximum. Now for the endpoint we need to check the maximum, right? Max of 2 comma 4. So we will get new interval as 0. What is the 0 index now? It's 1 and 4, right? So we will do this thing till the intervals are overlapping, right? And after that we will add this merged interval in the result. Understood everyone? Or let me write it. New interval of 0 will be what? minimum of both, right? Of min math dot min new interval of 0, and what is the second thing? Intervals of I comma 0, right? We need to take the minimum of both the starting points, and same with the endpoint, right? For endpoint we need to take the maximum of both, right? Max new interval of 1 comma intervals of I comma 1, right? Correct. After that we will just increment our I, and after this while loop, after we merge all the overlapping intervals, we will do what? We will add this new interval in the result. So basically we are merging all the overlapping intervals in the new interval. New interval. Got it? So after that, see, now we have merged all the overlapping intervals, right? Now there will be some intervals which are remaining at the end, right? So we need to add them as it is, right? So I less than n, we can just add them as it is of I. Okay, and I plus plus. At the end, now we need to convert this dynamic array into the 2D array, right? So for that, how can we convert this? We can use a method toArray. Return res.toArray. Now new int. What is the size? It will be res.size, correct? And it's a 2D array. Let's run this. It's incorrect. Interval. Anywhere else? Intervals. Accepted. Let's submit this. So accepted. I hope all of you got the logic what we are doing. This while loop, we are checking if there are, basically we are adding the non overlapping intervals as it is, right? Simply we are adding it. Now when we got some interval which is overlapping, now we need to check the endpoint and the starting point, right, for the new interval, and we are updating it, and we will run this while loop till we are having the overlapping intervals. Okay, so after that what we are doing, we are simply adding the merged, let me write it here, adding new merged interval, and here we are merging all overlapping intervals into new interval. Okay, and after that, now all overlapping intervals are added above. Now add all remaining intervals as it is. Okay, so this is the while loop for adding all the remaining intervals. At the end we are converting this array list to 2D array. Now the thing is, what is the time complexity here? On. So it's clear why it's on, right? We are not doing any sorting here, correct? Shall we move to the next question then? So the question was this one. Okay, meeting rooms. So basically there are two questions. One is meeting room, one is meeting room 2. Okay, so I will explain you the logic, but you have to try it by yourself. Okay, so basically in the first question what we are given the array of the meeting times intervals consisting of start and the end times. Okay, so meeting intervals will be there, let's say from 1 to 3. This is one meeting, this is the starting time, this is the end time of the meeting. After that, let's say 2 and 5, right? This is the starting point, this is the end point. Now we need to determine if a person could attend all the meetings. Now what we need to find here? We need to determine if a person could attend all the meetings. When he can attend all the meetings? We need to check overlapping here, right? So let's say person is attending this meeting from 1 to 3. Okay, 1 to 3. And one meeting is starting from 2, so he will not be able to attend this meeting, right? So basically we need to check if overlapping is there or not. So what is the condition for overlapping? The starting point of the current interval with the end time of the last interval. Just we need to check this. Okay, if the starting point of what? The current is less than with what? The end time of the last. That means they are overlapping, right? So within this if condition, if this satisfies, we can say true, right? So this was the simple question. Okay, I hope everyone got the logic. If you want to check the code, this is the code. What we are checking, basically we are checking this overlapping part, right? We are checking overlapping part here. We are traversing the intervals, right? And before that we are sorting it, right? Don't forget to sort it with their start time. This is the logic. We are checking the start time with the end time of the last interval.